Our next question is another account reconstruction for budgeting, but it's a little bit different. So we've got the same information as our previous questions. We own a small business that sells puppets and other children's toys. We're doing a budget for 2023. We're told total sales will be this. We've got some opening and closing balances. So we're budgeting for 2023. So we've got the actual opening balances. That's actually what these are. And then these are what's expected at the end of the year. And lastly, we're given all this additional info. So in this case, we're just looking for, we find our question and go back and just look for that. And our question in this case, which is a little bit different, is not reconstruct an account. We've done that and we'll do that a lot. It's that it says, can you reconstruct wages? So usually when we did this, we said account reconstruction, the ones that usually come up, accounts receivable, accounts payable, inventory, GST. But then every now and again on the exam they throw a random one in. So in this case wages, sometimes it's been capital or advertising. And it actually doesn't require you to learn anything new. All you're going to do is your normal debits and credits to wages, just like we did, but it's just for the future. So it's the same thing. So we don't need a little cue card of everything that could make every account go up and down. There's not enough cue cards in the world for that. What we just want to do is focus on, well, I've got wages. What would make wages go up? First of all, it's an expense, so it's going to go up on the debit side, and it's going to go down on the credit side. So wages are an expense. So wages won't have opening balances. They aren't opened into the next period. They're closed. So that won't appear in here. But what does appear in here is a related account called accrued wages. And that is a liability. That is wages from 2022 or last period that were incurred that I haven't paid yet. And it says here at the start of 2023, the balance of that will be 1,000. Now if that's a liability, that means the balance will be a credit here. Now we're not asked to recreate this ledger here. I'm just putting it on the screen because I think it will help us answer this question here. And then we're done. There's nothing else to do with wages there. So we just go through our information from top to bottom. So we're using this. Now let's go through the additional info. And it says payments to accounts payable. That's a different thing. That's people we owe money, but that's because we bought inventory. This is people we owe money because they work for us and we haven't paid their wages, so that's different. Advertising expense paid, that's not this, but then we got here, wages paid 45,000. Now what's important to remember is that when we, during 2023, the first $1,000 that we pay here, so we're going to pay 45, the first 1,000 of that will go to these people. So we'll pay them back, and therefore we don't owe them money anymore. So when you think about it, if we paid for, or we're expecting to pay 45,000 for wages, 1,000 was for wages last period to pay people we owed, called accrued wages. Well, that must mean $44,000 is wages for this period. And we put our reference as bank. And then it looks like we're done. There's nothing else to do with wages here. However, we're expecting at the end of 2023 for there to be more accrued wages. So someone's going to do some work for us in December and we're not going to pay them until January 2024. So in this case, it's 1,800. So that will be a liability. So liabilities go up on the credit side here. This is a balance day adjustment for an accrued expense. What do we do on balance day? We always debit the expense here. So this entry would match up with this entry. So in other words, what we're saying is, what are your total wages for the year? Well, this is a budget, but we expect it to be 44,000 paid and 1,800 accrued. And if you total that up, we'll get 45,800. And we'll write that on the other side. And this is an expense. Expenses aren't balanced, they're closed. So we would close that to the profit and loss summary account. And so there's our answer. So we had 1 mark for the entry to bank, 1 mark the entry for accrued wages, and 1 mark for closing it to the profit and loss summary account.